What's good, ladies and gents? Another video today, but I'm going to do it slightly different. I'm going to try and get or convey the importance of sort of the 4 hour and understanding where you are on the higher time frame. So usually I'll drop down from the daily down to the lowest time frames. Today I'm going to do it in reverse. So we're looking at the 5 tick, and looking at this, is this the 5 tick? Yeah. Looking at this, we've got trap sellers, we've got buyers putting up a wall, we've got sell breaking, we've got quite a few confluences, right? But when this price is playing out, it's playing at like 100 miles an hour. So the chances of you registering this and being like, boom, yes, let's hop in, I see this, I see the structure shift, when the structures are so minor and everything's moving so quickly, the chances of you being able to maintain maintain your composure and your poise when you're staring at that, unless you're Uzi or Sype, it's pretty fucking low. And I think even for them, they've sort of made obvious that they don't stare at that all day. It's strictly for entry criteria. So you identify your areas of interest, and then once it's in your area of interest and you've seen your structure shift on the 1 minute and it's coming back into your base, it's pulling back into the gold zone, at that point, that's when you look at your 10T, your 5T. So that's the first part. And then what I want to sort of establish as well is, looking at this structure and looking at the 5 tick alone, you can't tell that this is about to do, or maybe you can, maybe it's something I'll realise in the future, but you can't tell that this pattern is going to do like 300-400 ticks. You just can't. So that's why I do it top-down analysis at the start of every session, because, well, case in point. So we're looking at this, we see some trap sellers and whatnot, and then again, this is just entry criteria, so I'm only looking at this for a split second to get some confirmation, see the seller's traps, see some buyer aggression, etc. But I want to see structure on the 10T. Delta held. Okay. Pretty steady. So we've pulled into the area of interest, and again, when I'm looking at this, I wait for the delta held on the 10T, and then when it gets around to the gold zone, I'm just looking for some extra confirmations, and then I'm in. And the reason I've got that confidence is because I'm not just looking at the 5 tick, and I'm not just looking at the 10 tick. When price is moving that crazy, if you're only paying attention to the low time frames, you're gonna have, that's, in my opinion, it's pretty much impossible to have confidence if you're looking at this and you're looking at microstructures and you're entering just for this move. Cool, that sort of makes sense. But trying to catch that, you must be on some next level hocus pocus focus to fucking try and catch that. Anyway, 10T, clean structure. But even if we were just monitoring the 10T and we saw this structure, we'd have no idea, no idea that it's going to do all of that. So what can we do for confirmation or confidence? We can zoom out again. Inception pattern once more. Well, delta held pattern, and what I'm showing you is the Inception pattern. And this is how you get like high confidence trades in a super bearish scenario, which is why I only took half size. So now we've got traps. We've got trap sellers on the 5T for our entry. We've got a delta held on the 10 tick in this gold zone, and then we've got a delta held on the 1 minute. So now we've got triple confirmations. And then you, again, the same problem you have on the 5T. If we're zooming out and we're just looking at price, how can we have confidence to catch that move? Well, we just zoom out again. And this is when we go to the higher time frames. So this is now the 10, that's the 10T. I've made my charts naked as well, as someone commented. So same thing that we do on the lower time frames, we do on the higher time frame, looking for a base. How do we get the base? We look for the same structure over to the left. Just making sure I'm recording. And there we go. So now we've got 10-minute confirmation, a 1-minute confirmation, a 10T confirmation, 5T to confirmation. So that's the Inception method in a nutshell. I've shared the pre-flight checklist that I run through at the start of each session, right? And that starts on the higher time frames, going out to the 4-hour. You can leave those on. So what do we see on the 4-hour that gives us confidence for buyers there? Imbalance, showing that buyers are present on those levels. So now we've got a 4-hour confirmation. See how accurate that is. There you go. And then you might think, well, how am I supposed to know to be looking for buyers in that area? Because again, if we go one more time frame on the daily, you can use a discount tool on the range. %50 of the range is more than likely going to get a reaction. So this is always a useful tool to see where you should be buying and should be selling. So on these days here, and probably today, to be honest, you wouldn't want to be really looking for buyers, but it just goes to show the power of the Inception method, is that you can take those nice scalps against the trend as long as you do the adequate preparation. And the reason sort of looking at buyers is because on this structure we're still bullish. And what do I mean by that? We haven't really taken out any major lows, so if I put the box tool back on, we've come down into discount, buyer's discount, after breaking structure over to the left. right? Where buyers have previously pushed from and sellers have been trapped. We've come all the way up, pushed and set all-time highs week after week, showing buyer intent, and then sellers have gotten aggressive and they've defended and pushed us down. And I've said it before, there's a delta held sell on the top, which leads us to then setting the bearish structure, but we haven't taken out the range low. We haven't even gotten close to it. We haven't even taken out the first sort of accumulation. We've just come back and tested trap sellers. Now, am I saying that we can't keep selling off? No, I think we probably we just might, because we haven't broken the structure to the top. But this is all stuff that you can, when you're going into the session, you're taking in mind, write it down as to what you're seeing and what that translates to, and what you'd like to see to feel confident in an entry. But that's starting here. It's just basic structure, and then with the help of order flow we can see where buyers and sellers are active, which is really helpful, obviously. Then we drop down to the lower time frames, and again, even more confluence. We can see where sellers have been previously from the imbalance carrying over. And then when we're looking for our areas of interest today, we had evidence, because New York had bought once, twice, 3 times, 4 times from the same levels. The chances of that holding, not great, especially when you consider that we've got a sell delta held that's played out and given us sells for the past sort of week. But, and again, my bias today, I thought maybe we were going to buy off and go further up, which it didn't happen. But even if I'd have taken a loss today, I followed every single step. I've gone from daily, I've gone to 4 hour, I've gone to 10 minute. I've deeply analysed. I was struggling to find a decent buy base, because I initially was looking for buys along the bottom of the range. I was hoping for a sweep and then a move up, which we didn't get, and then it does a deep retracement. So I'm looking for the next major level. So I had, from previous days, obviously I've deleted my drawings, but you had a gold zone here, gold zone here, gold zone here, all getting broken, and then the next strong structure in this whole or the only delta held that I could find in this whole range, or in this leg should I say, was here. So then you draw in your gold zone and you sit and you wait for confirmations, which is what I did. In, out, boom boom, against the trend, $500. Sweet. You've identified your area of interest from the daily to the 4 hour to the 10 minute, drop down to the 5, and then the 1. It's I'm not going to say it's easy, because it's, again, like anything, it's a skill that needs to be learned. But I've been struggling to, and I've got it in the back of my mind that I'll be touting all this and then it'll just stop working because trading has fucked me that much, or I've fucked myself that much. But this is as simple as I think it could be. That's why I'm sort of screaming from the top of my lungs, guys, there's a way over here, please help yourselves, because I feel your pain. I've been there, and to finally figure it out, or hopefully have figured it out. 100% win rate over the past couple of days, green this month. I think I've had 1 losing day this month from this method, which is sweet. So yeah, I'm not trying to tout that I'm some fucking amazing trader or whatever. I'm not. I've literally just figured this out. It's very, very basic. It's very, very simple, but I think that's why it works. And I said on the video yesterday, it's good to walk before you can run. So understanding these structures and from a higher time frame downwards, get that confidence in price and how it moves. Like being able to wait for the nicest thing is when you're looking for this delta held setup, you identify a low that's been taken out, you wait for a high to be taken out, and then you're not like antsy thinking it's going to run off without you. You're like, if it does, it does, because we know that there's a delta held up here, and if price does come up, it means that buyers are most likely going to exhaust, they're going to falter, and then it'll print a sell delta held to the downside, and then you can catch this move instead. So, and when you get that understanding of the market, that you kind of know where it's moving to and from, and it's just super chill. It's actually quite fun. You're not tearing your hair out day after day, fucking thinking that there's something wrong with you, and that you're gonna be defeated by this thing when it's just bars moving on the chart. It's yeah, keep it simple. That's gonna be my way forward. But yeah, hope this helps. Any questions, as always, reach out. We can jump on a call if you're struggling, whatever. Cheers, guys.